Yo, yo, what is goody? I am Wavy. First, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been showing up, showing support on the videos. It goes a long way for the channel, and I appreciate it. All right. Now, Mike Rapaport, he's been recently going on his red pill journey. He's been speaking out a lot against Biden, a lot against Eric Adams in New York City. He's been speaking about possibly voting for Trump in the next election. Now, will he or won't he? I'm not sure. But he has taken a almost 180-degree turn on his stance on Trump. You know, he admits that himself, like a lot of people, were swayed by the media, which was bought and paid for by whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? The swamp, the deep state. But they put out a lot of misinformation, particularly, like I said, regarding that story. So we'll get to a couple of them. I just want to give a little backstory on, you know, the extent of the Trump derangement syndrome that he previously had, you know, so we can kind of keep a timeline.
Cops, you know, you spend your whole life as a hardworking guy, as a cop, right? Or as a fireman, as a...
Ironically, he's talking about cops. Listen.
And the Auschwitz t-shirt guy and the Confederate flag guy and the cops, you know, you spend your whole life as a hardworking guy, as a cop, right? Or as a fireman, as a military person, and you get gassed up by Dick Stain Donald Trump, and you put it all on the line, and you throw away your entire life for a guy that literally wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Exactly. And these fucking assholes, oh, you have Trump derangement syndrome. No, anyone that was at the Capitol building, anyone that gets arrested, anyone that showed up there, you have Trump derangement syndrome. You're deranged in the name of a guy that wouldn't fucking pay he wouldn't look at you and think about you for a second. That's derangement. To be a cop, okay, to go into the Capitol building.
All right, so he's talking about cops, all right? Now, in light of the recent situation with the 6 migrants that beat up the police in Times Square, you know, again, if you're from someplace, do you want to see your hometown, your home country, if you're not from a particular place, do you want to see home, or what you call home, looking like a piece of shit, run down? Like, I'm from Brooklyn. I hate looking at the state of New York City now. Every time you turn it on, it's crime. It's just, it's the mayor getting up and saying that they can't sustain it. You know, I have family out there. They're talking about, you know, crazy, ridiculous prices, not only for rent, but for just everyday things. Let's get to the video.
This is why when I say voting for pig Donald Trump is on the table, voting for pig Donald Trump is on the table. The other day in New York City, 6 illegal aliens jumped a New York City cop, NYPD's finest. They jumped a New York City cop in Times Square and were arrested and released without bail. I know it's a city thing. I know it's a state thing. I know all that.
Which cities and which states? Guarantee you it's blue cities. All right, the 4 major states in this country. All right, California, New York, Texas, and Florida. 2 red, 2 blue. Florida and Texas are red. New York and Cali are blue. All right, and look at the state of them. People are leaving California, getting away from Gavin Newsom and the policies he's bringing. People are leaving New York City to go where? Texas and Florida. Now, hopefully they have learned, you know, but who knows? We see some places in Texas already, like Austin and stuff, that they're already blue. Houston.
Okay, stay with me. Released without bail. Came out of the courtroom on some Tupac, raising the middle finger with the Detroit Red Wings jersey. Let me tell you something. What the is the world coming to? If you could be from another country, beat up a cop in New York City, and walk out with no bail? Guarantee
you and I couldn't, you know. But it's funny hearing him talk about this, because he was for open borders. He was like, migrants, come on. They need to come. They're seeking fucking asylum. You know how I get on and go crazy. They're seeking asylum and all that. All right. So now it would have been fine if it was in Texas and not his home. You know, but it's good that it happened in the way it is, because now he's actually seeing it. He's getting the message. I hope.
What the is the world coming to? What the is the world coming to? I know, Mayor Adams, you're from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I know this. Like, what the have I gotten myself into? Stay with me. On the same day that happens, Cadaver Joe Biden issues an executive order about 4 quote-unquote settlers in Judea, Samaria, a.k.a. the West Bank. Some troublemakers, 3 of the 4 have already been arrested. You issue an executive order about 4 troublemaking ups who've already been arrested in Judea, Samaria, while there's a war going on, while there's 100 plus hostages still being held in Gaza. You're talking about that, but you got nothing to say about beating up cops?
See? And then he's also going to have a particular stance on the problem in the Middle East because he's a Jew. So he is going to be pro-Israel and not for Palestine, whereas the Biden administration is more pro-Palestine, or at least their followers are a lot more pro-Palestine than the conservative side or the Republicans or the red or whatever you call them. So he has the state of New York City, you know, seeing how Biden's running it, seeing how what's happening in the nation. Plus, he has religious ties to the Middle East, so he's gonna feel a type if America's not doing what he thinks they should be doing. You know, like I said, I don't have a stance on that. I don't know enough about it. That is something religious. That is something way out of something of my understanding.
In New York City, the greatest city on earth. Maybe it's not. Maybe my city is not the greatest city on earth anymore. If you could beat up cops, in the quote unquote greatest city in the world and be released without bail, are we the greatest city on earth?
And they still telling them still come because Mayor Eric Adams recently launched a $53 million program with prepaid cards to be given out to migrant families. It's only going to get worse.
Cadaver Joe Biden, we see you. We see you. Don't worry about those in Israel. Bibi got them. Israel will take care of them. Worry about cops getting beat up in Times Square and walking out with no bail like the Tupac Shakur. Worry about that
All right. So previously on the whole Charlottesville, Virginia, all right, and I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but I'm giving a little context before I get to the interview. All right. Previously, you know, on the whole thing, and like I said, about the Charlottesville, Virginia, sorry. The Jewish podcast hosted a video to Twitter on Wednesday criticizing Kushner for not speaking out after Trump said during a press conference that both sides shared the blame for the violence at white supremacist rallies over the weekend in Charlottesville, Virginia. The president's comments have received widespread criticism while earning praise from former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke. All right, there's a couple things here. He had the interview that was taken out of context in which he denounced both sides. He said it was for the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue. All right. You had people that wanted it removed and people that didn't want it removed. All right. The people that didn't want it removed and the counter protesters were both getting into it. He said there were bad people on both sides and there were good people on both sides. There were people that went there to cause problems and there were people that just went there just for the, the moral and ethical thing, however you felt on it, that's what he said. The media took it, chopped it up, and they released it, and they made it seem like if he was saying there were good people on both sides, like saying that in terms of the white supremacists. All right, he denounced white supremacy in the interview, and he denounced the KKK. But let's get to Mike Rapaport. Don't want to keep this one too long.
So if you believe in the Obama doctrine, all right, be nice to each other, whatever, there's no way you were voting for Trump. It just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't happening. He was abrasive. He was racist. The media, yada, yada, yada.
And he was a joke. Like as New Yorkers, like he was like
yeah,
he's a ball busting troll.
Exactly.
He's a
but
shit
here's
talker.
why I think you're going to vote for him this time, because you've seen what happened under his first term. You didn't like it. He's the pig dick, and he's got the mean tweets, and he's orange. But life was good. There was no war. The economy was going good. But damn, he's annoying to look at. But you also can acknowledge that the media had a major role in that.
When you take a step back.
Yes, you also acknowledge that.
Because I will acknowledge that, that one thing about the Charlottesville that I ranted about.
Yes.
And I was wrong.
About the both sides thing. Yeah.
See, and that's sometimes the easiest thing to just say is I was wrong and seek some information. You know what I'm saying? I get stories wrong, or I might, but just seek the more information. That's why I can respect him. I can respect it.
But the both sides thing. Yeah,
and I respect
so irresponsible.
And I respect the shit out of it.
Wait, let me hear him out. Hang on. Yeah. Go a little bit more. What do you mean by that? You were wrong on that.
No, because he said the both sides, there's good people on both sides. And when you see the full quote, that wasn't what he said. And I ranted on him hard for that. Mm-hmm. Hard. There's some video about it, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I ranted hard because I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Because you got played. And here's what this is why I think you're going to vote for Trump. Is because you, much like me, much like many people, independent thinkers, not the sheep, realize we kind of got played a little bit. Yes, Trump ain't exactly the smoothest character. He's not
Jesus Christ.
No. But his policies and who he has around him are way better than what's going on there. And here's my final.
And you can't deny that. If you see what's going on, you can't deny. And if you are denying that, I don't know, man. I think you're voting with more emotion, than logic. That's just what I would say, because you look at the country now, you look at the country, what is it, 2024? You look at the country, 4 or 5 years ago? It was a completely different place. Let's go back to 2019 before COVID.
Final point. You see what's going on with the border. You see what's going on with the wokeness.
Yep.
You see what's going on with culture wars.
Yep.
And you see what's going on with actual wars.
Yep. Yeah.
Specifically, you see who the Democrats have exposed their hand, especially the progressive left. You see what's going on between Israel and Gaza. You have 3 Star of David highs on your chest right now. And as someone who is a proud New Yorker your whole life, you see what the Democratic Party has turned into. This DEI, ESG, woke manifestation of ridiculousness, intersectionality, decolonialization. You're looking at that and you say, you know what? As much as I can't stand big dick Donald Trump,
You said it.
at least he's fucking normal.
Yo, I don't care what somebody looks like. What are your policies? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I even think New York City is the way it is. Because check it out. Back in the day, when I was growing up there, I grew up there, like I said, 90s, early 2000s. George Pataki, Mayor Giuliani, Republicans. It was a different time. Like, New York City was prospering, Even with 9/11 happening, we still were together. It was still unified. Then you get Mike Bloomberg, you know what I'm saying? Then you get now Eric Adams. Look at the difference, you know what I'm saying? And we're voting. I guarantee you Eric Adams got the job because he's a black man. You know what I'm saying? But what are his policies? Like, we just voting with emotion. We got to get rid of that shit.
Donald Trump.
You said it.
At least he's fucking normal. At least he doesn't want to turn my boy into
At
a
least,
girl.
at least he's normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least, at least he doesn't want to turn my boy into a girl.
Yeah.
At least he's defending Israel, not the fucking terrorists. And at the end of the day, I'm a reasonable person.
Yeah.
So like you said initially, I think I'm going to consider this.
Oh, I'm considering it.
Yes.
But to pull that, I don't know, we don't pull levers anymore.
Yeah.
Actually pull that lever.
Yeah, but pulling the lever for Biden.
And then
He knows he wants to do it, yo. He knows he wants to do it.
I don't know, we don't pull levers anymore. Actually pull that lever.
Yeah, but pulling the lever for Biden.
and then
I'm going to tell you right now, I won't vote. I'm not voting for Biden.
No.
I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm not,
But then you can't talk shit. And you need.
Yeah. If you're not going to vote, then, yeah, you can't say anything. You can't say that you're mad about the situation and the state of stuff if you're not going to let your voice be heard, regardless if it counts or not or something like that. You at least need to express your voice. And I that's a whole different thing with voting and does it count and all that. But you got to go out there and vote, man. Or you can't bitch and complain.
But then you can't talk shit. And you need to be able to talk
well,
shit.
wait a minute. So you're saying, so for you,
I won't vote for them.
so no matter what, that decision is
That ain't
final.
happening.
Okay.
No, I'm not. That's not happening.
What?
I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm not voting
Or
for
anybody.
Biden.
Well, but Mikey, what about
I'm not
anybody
voting
else?
for them.
What about Michael? What about anybody from the
what he's
left?
saying is,
Who?
what he's saying
There's
is-
nobody.
I'm saying, like,
Kennedy?
what if Newsom or one of these cats pop up? That's it.
Gavin? I just left California. I'm not voting for Gavin with the good hair.
I love that.
Hey, so you admitting that their policies don't work, man? It's all right. Just go ahead and say it, man. You know you want to say it.
Gavin with a good hair,
But
just like Beck.
Fuck out of here.
So here's my thing though. So
I'm not a sucker.
Oh, man. You're not a sucker anymore, but you were a sucker because, you were out here championing it. You know what I'm saying? When everybody was saying this is what would happen, you were out here like, no, it wouldn't. And now it's happening. And, but it's good to see him having a change of heart as he goes through the process. It's documented. So, we get to see it happening in real time. If you stuck around this long in the video, as always, I'd appreciate it. If you drop a like, hit the comment button, join the conversation, subscribe button, all that wave be going on. Let's get it going. And without any more, let me get to my final clip.
Thank you, Kareem. If the special counsel says President Biden's got significant limitations on his memory, then who is helping him run the country?
The President of the United States runs the country. The Commander-in-Chief runs the country.
How can he be trusted with the nuclear codes if I get that you're saying that nobody in the building would say that he's got an issue with his memory, but just the little part of what we get to see, he's made mistake after mistake after mistake.
Yo, man, he has great points. Ducey is a great reporter, man, a great antagonist, but we see it. We see him falling. We see him bumbling and stumbling and making mistakes and walking the wrong way on stage. But this is why you can't trust her. Look at her. She's just going to look at us and lie. Check it.
After a mistake on camera this week.
So I'm going to be very clear here. The reality is that report, that part of the report, does not live in reality. It just doesn't.
So the special counsel is lying about the president's memory.
It is.
So everything else is true, but that part is. But nobody asked Corinne Jean-Pierre. Nobody asked her the tough questions because she's black. She's a woman. She's an alphabet community member. She checks all of these things. She's an immigrant. I believe she's a first generation American. I believe she's of Haitian descent. She checks so many boxes. Nobody asked her the tough questions.
It was gratuitous. You heard from Ian Sams, my colleague. It is unacceptable, and it does not live in reality. That is just the facts. And look, it is a closed case. That is what the special counsel said.
I don't know, man. But hopefully people continue waking up. Trump 2024, be easy and stay wavy.